In this lesson, you're going to be learning how to multiply and divide fractions. Long story short, multiplying fractions is really simple. All you have to do is multiply straight across and then simplify or reduce. So in our first example, we have 3/8 times 1/4. You're literally just multiplying straight across the line. So we have our numerators, 3 times 1, over our denominators, 8 times 4, and we get 3/32. If the fraction can reduce or simplify, then you go ahead and do that. 3 and 32 are not both divisible by anything, so this one is complete. In the next one, 3/4 times 1/6, same thing. Multiply straight across. And then if it can reduce or simplify, then go ahead and do that. 3 and 24 are both divisible by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 24 divided by 3 is 8. I do want to show you something here on this one. We could have approached this differently. Let's say we multiplied straight across, and you can see in the numerator and denominator, we have multiplication in both. And so since it's all multiplication, we can simplify ahead of time if there are any factors that have a common factor. So for example, 3 and 6 are both divisible by 3. So if we reduce both by 3, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 6 divided by 3 is 2, and then multiply straight across, then the reducing is done. We get a simplified answer, and we don't have to worry about simplifying at the end. Now you'll notice that we got the same answer in either case, so they both work. Whichever way you feel most comfortable with is the way that you should do it. Let's try number 3. 7/8 times 2/5. Go ahead and pause it, try it on your own, and come back and check your answer. Hopefully you got 14/40, or if you reduced ahead of time, the 2 and the 8 reduce to be 7/20, which 14/40, if we divide that by 2, we get 7/20. So your final answer is 7/20. Then let's go to number 4. Pause it, try it, and come back. There's several ways that you can approach this problem. In the top way of mine, you can see I reduced first. And there's several ways that you can reduce because we have 4 even numbers. So you could have reduced these two, or these two, or these two, or these two. It really doesn't matter. As long as you end up with the same solution, then you've done it correctly. Now let's say you didn't reduce first. Let's say you multiplied straight across instead. Then you would get 20/64. 10 times 2 over 16 times 4. This does reduce, and I know that because they're both even. So when I look at this, I see that 20 and 64 are both divisible by 4. So I would start with 4, but maybe you don't see that. Maybe you see, oh, they're both divisible by 2. Then go ahead and do that. Whatever you see, go ahead and do it. If you use a 2, you're going to get 10/32, which reduces again by 2 to get 5/16, and that's where we're done. So you can keep reducing until you can't reduce anymore, or simplifying, whatever. Or if you find the largest number that 20/64 divides by, like 4, then you jump straight to that solution. So there's lots of different ways to come up with the same solution. Whichever way you use to get there is good with me, as long as you got there. Dividing fractions is just as easy. There's just one extra step. The one extra step, I want to explain it to you because I don't want you to just think it's magic. It's math, not magic. So I have this example here, 1/2 divided by 3/4. So I've kind of got, it's called a complex fraction. I've got a fraction over a fraction. If I want to get this out of the denominator, then I can multiply by its inverse, which is its reciprocal. And to keep it balanced, whatever I did in the bottom, I also have to do to the top. And what happens here is in the bottom, we get 12 over 12, 3 times 4 over 4 times 3, which is 1. And in the top, I have 1/2 times 4/3. Now, anything divided by 1 is just itself, like 4 over 1 is just 4. So I can kind of ignore the 1 since it doesn't really change the problem. And then I just have a multiplication problem. 1 times 4, 2 times 3, then reduce to get 2/3. So the rule for dividing fractions is you flip the second fraction and multiply. And this is where that rule comes from. So we have, what happened is we flipped the second one to clear it from the denominator, ended up multiplying it by the numerator, and reduce. That's all. Super simple. So we have number 5, 3/4 divided by 1/8. You want to make sure to take note of this division symbol. When you see a division symbol, you want to go ahead and flip that second fraction so that you don't forget. So we have 3/4, and then since I flipped it, it is now a multiplication problem. If you want to, you can reduce ahead of time, and we get 6 over 1, which is 6. Easy peasy. Next one, you try and come back, see if you get the right answer. You should get 1/16 times 2 over 1, which is 2 over 16, and that reduces to 1/8. Not too shabby. Okay, we have some fun ones down here. This is kind of an exercise for you to get some practice, ungraded practice. So go ahead and pause it and try these problems. Do the best you can, and then come back and check your answers. I went a little bit out of order because I wanted to talk about number 8 before I just showed it to you. So number 7 was probably the easiest. Multiply straight across, reduce, you should get 1/20th, or you could have reduced first by 2 and you still get 1/20th. And then skip down to number 9. You might notice we've got this whole number here and then a fraction. Sometimes it's helpful to go ahead and convert that whole number to fraction form. And to do that, you just throw it over a 1. So 2 in fraction form could be written as 2 over 1. And then we have our division problem. We flip the second fraction, multiply. You should get 8 over 1, which simplifies to just 8. And then number 10 is very similar. We have this whole number, so you can throw it over a 1 to put it in fraction form. You could reduce first or reduce last, but you should get 3 over 3, which reduces to 1. These are reciprocals or multiplicative inverses, and multiplicative inverses multiply to 1, the multiplicative identity. So there's a little vocab for you. And the number 8 looks like a lot of fun. I really like this one. Basically, what we're going to do here on number 8 is multiply the numerators first, and we get 2 over 40, which is 1 over 20. And then I'm just going to repeat this denominator. So what I have is 1/20th divided by 1/4. And you can write that out this way if that makes you more comfortable. And then we know when we divide fractions, we actually flip the second and multiply, and then reduce. You can divide by 2 and then 2 again, or you can divide by 4 and we get 1/5. And that's all. That's all I have for this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to help, and I'll see you in the next one.